Hello, everyone. Welcome to the EJG3 show. This is your host, Eddie Gallagher. Today, I am here with Jay Considine. Jay, thank you for coming on the show.
Eddie, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Man, week 18 in the NFL is over, and we're heading into the playoffs. I can't believe it.
I know, happened quick.
I know it was a
Blink of an
heck of
eye.
a, heck of a season and a weird season.
Yeah, it was not a lot of parity, not a one dominant team or two dominant teams. The Chiefs are out of it, so it feels
No,
like it's could be anyone's year.
no Chiefs, no Bengals,
That's right.
and no Baltimore. And that's where we're going to start in Baltimore.
All
So,
right.
breaking news: the Ravens have fired John Harbaugh. I just want to know what it was your first reaction after hearing that news.
Well, to be honest, I think you'd heard rumblings about it over the past weeks, months. So given the way the season ended, disappointing loss, to Pittsburgh to make the playoffs, and I guess the relationship kind of just ran its course. Um, it seems like they had almost 2 decades of success together, so there's probably some fatigue on both sides, but at the end of the day, I think they had a great run, and it's probably a good mutual parting of the ways at this point for the Ravens.
Yeah, first of all, I was shocked. You heard the rumblings, but it's like, really? You're gonna really fire John Harbaugh? I mean, he's been there for about 18 years and had a lot of success. Ravens are a good organization. They don't really fire coaches.
Yeah,
And, that's just the NFL, man. Sometimes when you have expectations and you don't meet those expectations, you get run out of the building, and that's what happened.
yeah,
Um, you know, do I blame Harbaugh for the Ravens' collapse? No. I mean, Loop needs to make that field goal. If he makes the field goal, you're in the playoffs. He probably doesn't get fired, but you know,
yeah. I think he makes the field goal, they go to the playoffs, but depending on how that game, the next game goes, if they lose that one in a disappointing way, I think the writing was kind of on the wall with this. So I it's surprising, and like you heard, I think the reports came out right after he got fired. He got calls from 6 or 7 teams or something. So, he's going to get a job and somebody's going to snatch him up quick, but I think the Baltimore part of it doesn't shock me as much as crazy it is to let a coach go of his caliber.
if I said the Ravens made a bad decision, am I crazy?
No, I think that's a reasonable that's a reasonable thing to say with the quality of coach that Harbaugh is and has been and the success they've had over 20 years. But I also can see the other perspective where, it's been 20 years.
18 years.
Recently, they've been very good. They have a great quarterback, and they're right there. And maybe they just feel that they need to make a change to progress over, whatever hump they think they got to get over.
I got a hot take,
Okay,
and I want you to react to it. All right.
sure.
I think the Ravens made a bad decision in firing John Harbaugh because they chose the wrong guy. I would have had John Harbaugh as my coach, and I would have gotten rid of Lamar Jackson. I
I
would
had a
have
fe-
I would have traded Lamar Jackson to the Ravens for three first round picks and try to get Mendoza. He's probably going to go number one.
Mhm.
I think Lamar has drama. The injuries are piling up, and at the end of the day, he can't win big games. And I believe Mendoza is going to be a superstar.
Yeah. So who's got the first pick? Is it the Raiders?
It's the Raiders. I would have trade. Yeah, I would trade Lamar.
So you would have offered the Lamar to the Raiders for that first and two other firsts
Yeah,
and some other
yeah,
stuff too.
yeah.
Yeah.
These details can be worked out later.
Yeah.
I
So,
just, I mean, I don't believe in Lamar Jackson. He's
Yeah.
not becoming a diva, and shame on him for not supporting his coach. You know, a reporter asked him a question about Harbaugh, and he's like, "Really? I'm just, I'm focused on the game right now. I'm not focused on like he didn't support Harbaugh. Like I just thought that was a little classless.
Okay. What was the question? Just
It was about, do you think Harbaugh should be the Ravens coach, something like that.
okay. And
And he
he
just
he
responded, "I'm not really focused on that. I'm
yeah.
just trying to, you know."
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, I think
His mind was not,
yeah.
looking forward to the future. His mind was on the Steelers, which I get. It
Yep.
was a brutal loss, but
Yeah. I mean, I think Lamar and Harbaugh's relationship was a solid one over the years, so I don't know if I would read into it that much. I bet Lamar's disappointed to see him go. Um, on your point that you would have shopped Lamar and kept Harbaugh, you know, that's another one I can kind of see both ways. Harbaugh's 63 years old. Lamar's, you know, inching towards 30. I don't know how old he is exactly, but he's inching towards 30 as his main weapon being his legs. So, NFL history has kind of proven the fact that the running quarterback does not age as well as a pocket passer would, or so I can see the concern from the Ravens side, but obviously they decided that he was their guy and he's sticking with them, which he's been a top 3, 4 guy now for half a decade, if not more. So, it makes sense. But at the same time, yeah, I can see your point.
so the Ravens. I'm looking at their. Just recapping their schedule. They lost to Buffalo. They lost to the Bengals. They lost to the Chiefs, and you lost to Pittsburgh twice.
Yep.
So, I mean, obviously they didn't lose to Cleveland because Cleveland's a mess. But you're
Hmm.
basically 1-5 versus your rivals.
Yeah.
That's not good. That is not good.
No, but
Um,
I do think Lamar was dealing with some injury stuff this year, and there were stretches where he wasn't playing, right? They had Huntley in there, and you know, I don't think he was 100% for a lot of this season. So,
that's true.
um, if you look back at, years past where the Ravens have had a, great roster, great coach, great quarterback, they've put together really good years. I think the playoffs is where it's ultimately fallen apart for Lamar, and that could probably attribute to the fact that, he has never. I mean, he's gotten good as a passer, but never to the level that maybe you need to be able to be that next level of success in the playoffs. But who knows? He's got a whole second half of his career to be able to prove that he can do that.
Yeah, look, the Ravens are a good organization.
Yeah,
They,
exactly, right?
they'll probably figure it out. They're going to be really good next year. I expect a bounce
Hmm.
back year. I expect Harbaugh, to get another head coaching job.
Where
Uh,
do you think he'll go?
okay, so what are there, 6 jobs left or open right now?
Yeah, I think it might be 7 if you include the Ravens. I think that's what I
Okay,
heard.
okay. There
So,
might there might be a job opening if a team
yeah,
loses this
like a
weekend,
playoff team. Yeah.
a playoff team.
I think that's probably what'll end up happening, because like I said, he's getting older. He wants to be on a winner, right? So,
And it's the same team that has the same expectations as Lamar Jackson.
yeah.
And so I'm talking about the Bills. I think Sean
Oh, you're
McDermott.
thinking the Bills.
Yeah. No, no, I'm not saying Harbaugh is going to go to the Bills, but there could be a job
Sure.
that's better than the Ravens, and that's the Bills.
Yeah. You
If
think
it's open.
so if do you think that this playoffs and how it goes for Buffalo will ultimately decide McDermott's fate? Or is
I
that
mean
what
you
you're
have
hinting at?
to. I mean,
You're a Bills fan, correct?
Lamar and Josh are special players, and the
Hmm.
fact that Harbaugh and McDermott haven't gone to the Super Bowl, yeah, that's a big deal. And look, and I like Harbaugh, and I
Yeah.
like McDermott. I mean, they're good coaches, but like I said, expectations they mount,
Hmm.
and the fan bases are angry, and
Yeah.
they're not pleased with the results. And And that's the same with ownership. They're not pleased with the results. And
No, I
like
get
I
you.
said, the NFL's a tough business.
Oh yeah, it's cutthroat. NFL not for long.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, I wanna get to the Chargers. They have a big game this weekend.
Yeah.
Um, Justin Herbert. A lot of people are saying that he has a lot of pressure on him because he hasn't won a playoff game. He's 0-2. Um, he's only completing 52%. He has 515 yards, two TDs, four interceptions. A lot of those four interceptions came from the Houston game last year.
Yeah.
But is there any pressure on him this year to get that first playoff win?
I think from a national media narrative standpoint, yes, it would be important for Herbert to play well and get a win in the playoffs. Um, I guess to kind of get that monkey off of his back because that kind of drives a lot of the narrative around him as a player. Um, like you said, there's been two games in the playoffs, both times differing circumstances. They haven't gone the Chargers' way. Um, I think he's fully capable of getting it done. The matchup against New England, this specific matchup this year, it scares me, and I think it's a tough one. The Patriots have had a good year despite the weak schedule. I think, they've been rolling teams, and when you're rolling teams in the NFL, it's not a joke, right? So I think they're a good team, a serious threat, and given that the Chargers defense has played great this year, but the offense has struggled. The offensive line is extremely banged up. They've kind of been patching it together with backups, third stringers all year. Um, and, I think if they're able to protect the quarterback this game, I think that Herbert will have a chance to, do what he does, play well and drive the ball down the field, put points on the board. And ultimately, if we can do that, I think the Chargers have a shot at winning this one.
Yeah, look, I don't. I put a lot of pressure on Herbert because people say he's that dude. He's that
Hmm.
quarterback.
Yeah,
Which obviously he has the talent, but the production's not there. Um, I mean, obviously not all of it's his fault, but if you're that guy, sometimes you gotta patch things together.
when you
Um,
say the production's not there, are you talking specifically playoffs?
yes, the
Okay.
playoffs. Yes, I'm
Yeah, no,
talking.
that's
That's why I said the question, playoffs.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Sorry for the sarcasm. Um, but I'm, I mean, I've been harping on him to get that first win, get that monkey off his back. But
Yeah,
this year, I don't think there's any pressure. At least,
yeah,
but but depending on how he played, if he played solid, I'm not
yeah.
gonna put too much heat on him. But if he
Right.
plays poorly, like he did in Houston, yeah, I
Yeah.
might. He deserves a little criticism. Um,
Yeah. I will say, that Houston game that Chargers offense was not nearly equipped to deal with a defense like the Texans, right? Like, the weapons were weak. Ladd was our best receiver. We kind of patched that together last year. We didn't block well last year. I think, the interceptions, obviously the stats look horrible from that game, but the Chargers really didn't match up well at all against that Texans team. And I will say the next round, the Texans kind of did the same thing to the Chiefs. The Chiefs were just able to eke one out against them. And then you've seen what the Houston defense has carried over into this season. They're best in the league and they give every quarterback trouble, even, Josh Allen, right? So,
yeah, yeah. Um, I will say this: we talk about we're going to talk about the O line a little later, but the weapons
yeah.
for the Chargers are a lot better. I like the lad McConkey. He's awesome. He's a great receiver.
Yeah.
I like the tight end, Arondé Gatson.
Syracuse, yeah.
I was surprised that they brought Keenan Allen back, but he's been a great addition.
Yep.
And Quinn Johnson kind of bounced back here. People were kind of labeling him as a bust. He's not a bust anymore. He can finally catch a football.
Yeah. Yeah, I think your point on Ladd, he's great. He was awesome last year, had kind of like an all-pro year his rookie year, right? This year I think it's been tough for Ladd. The protection's not there, which impacts the routes and the amount of times he's getting targeted. So the production dipped heavily, but I still have all the confidence in Ladd to be a formidable, at least number two for us. I think we need an X at some point. I don't think that guy's Quentin Johnston. I think he plays well in spurts. I think he lacks confidence. He has bad hands most of the time, and he scares me when he has like contested balls. I don't know. I'm not a big Quentin Johnson fan, but I do recognize that he's had, a decent output this year, and he can do that in spurts. Keenan, glad to have him back. He's a legend as a Charger. One of my favorite receivers ever. Started really well this year. I think he was fresh. I think as the season's gone along, you can kind of tell he's lost a step and he struggles to create separation like he typically does, but still a security blanket for Herbert, who he looks for all game long on third down, so hoping Keenan can get open on Sunday and make an impact. And Gadsden was a huge pickup, right? Fifth round, great surprise. He's in the lineup catching balls, exactly what we needed. We needed an athletic, long guy that Herbert can hit. So he had a tough game against Houston, right? Had a couple drops that ended up costing us, but he's a rookie, so that'll happen. I'm excited for him and his future to be able to keep developing with Herbert because Herbert likes throwing to him a lot.
It's important to have a tight end.
Yeah,
Um, and then you have your running back, Marion Hampton, out of North
yeah,
Carolina. Jay,
yeah,
I know he's been banged up, but I think that guy is a stud.
yeah. No, he's good. He runs hard. He runs strong. He's fast. I do like him. I'm I guess against kind of taking running backs in the first round as a whole, just as a philosophy at this point. I think they took him in the mid 20s of the draft, which, it's not like you're taking him in the top five, but it's still a first round pick that you're spending on a running back. So that's a big commitment to a guy. We see running backs churn through this league 3, 4 years and then done. So I'm hoping he can stay healthy. Like you said, he got banged up this year. Stay healthy and be productive for years to come, because that's the price you paid for him. So I'm hoping that he can continue to run like he did when he was healthy this year and get better.
Yeah, yeah. You know, so obviously Herbert's been banged up. He injured his hand or whether it was his wrist.
Yeah, he's got a broken left hand.
Yeah, yeah, that's not. That's right. That's right. The reason is because he got sacked 54 times,
Yeah.
and I couldn't believe when I saw that stat.
Yep.
And losing. Do you think losing a guy like Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt definitely like those? We know those two can really play football. They're great
Um,
linemen, but do you think that really impacted why Herbert got sacked 40 or 54 times?
I think it was everything to do with it. Slater went down before the season. He's an all-pro level tackle. And he had a terrible pec injury, so he's been trying to recover from that all year. Hopefully he can come back strong. We just paid him a big contract, so I'm hoping that he can come back strong next year. But the nature of the injury scares me. It sounds like it's something that guys sometimes struggle to come back from 100%. So I'm hoping that he can bounce back next year. And then all that's the guy, right? You spent a top pick on him last year. He's been every cent worth it. He's a stud. The whole complexion of the offensive line changes when he's in the game. So the 5 or 6 games that he was able to play this year, the line looks completely different than it did, the rest of the year. So him going down was painful for the team, for the offense, for Herbert. But I it's been amazing his ability to bounce back, hit after hit after hit, pressure after pressure, game after game. If you watch a Chargers game, he's under siege. whatever, whatever the stat is. I think it's he's pressured on 43% of his dropbacks this year, which leads the league. Um, so, it's a 32nd ranked O-line in the league this year. It's historically bad in many categories, and he got 11 wins on the books again, right? And he's back in the playoffs. So I think it's a testament to what he can do. He's a warrior, and every
Yeah,
time he
he's
steps,
tough. He's
yeah,
tough.
every time he steps on the field, he's one of the best players out there and makes an impact, makes guys better. Um, and if you remember a couple years ago, he played through broken ribs for a big chunk of the season as well. So it's not his first time doing this, right? It proves every year how tough he is and what he's willing to do for his teammates and to ultimately to win. So people who question his competitive spirit, I think that's nonsense. I don't think they're paying attention or his leadership.
Yeah, no, I mean, he doesn't talk a lot, but he,
He's a
Harbaugh
warrior.
really speaks, he really does speak kindly of Herbert. You
Yeah,
know,
Harbaugh loves Herbert.
yeah, he loves him a lot.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, those funny. Those are some funny quotes.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, I mean, 54 times. I mean, look, some of them could be on him, but yeah, the O line is
yeah,
not good without
no,
those two.
yeah. It's tough, but you know, like I say, he's. I think when he does have that protection though for long stretches of seasons, in his 5 or 6 year career, whatever it's been, I think he shows week after week why he's considered, talked about in these top five discussions. I think anybody who watches them can take that away. And like you're saying, I'm hoping this weekend goes well and he can kind of shed some of the negative narrative around the playoffs and whatnot, and can move on with his career because I think he's going to have a long, pretty solid career.
How do you feel about the Chargers defense as a whole?
I mean, the turnaround from, a couple years ago to when Harbaugh and Jesse Minter took over last year, it's been a 180. For years, most of my life, really, the Chargers were a doormat, especially on, third downs, not being able to get stops, giving up a lot of yards. So, you just came to kind of expect that out of Chargers football. And, Rivers, Herbert in the early parts of his career were always, shootout game after shootout game. And, it was fun, but, it wasn't a winning brand of football. So Harbaugh comes in, revamps the defense along with Minter, right, who's now a hot head coaching candidate. And the brand of football has completely changed over the past couple of years, but like I said, they're winning football games. They're back-to-back 11 win seasons and back-to-back playoffs. So it's a boring brand of football. It's a keep guys in front of you type of defense and bend don't break. But I feel confident in a Chargers defense, which is something I never really been able to say before watching this team in the past.
Yeah, well, I was watching a game, and I'm gonna ask you this question. I was watching a game versus Denver,
Yeah,
and Bo Nix really couldn't do anything. Um, and I was just impressed because I mean, the Chargers weren't playing their starters.
yeah.
And it just shows you how much depth is on that defense.
Yeah, no, I think they're well coached, they're disciplined, and they got guys all over the place. And I think the coaching gets the most out of the roster, which is, all you can ask for as a fan.
Yeah, no, we'll get back to the Chargers, but I want to talk about the Broncos right now.
Okay.
They're totally overrated, right?
Yeah, I
I
think
mean, they played terrible versus Kansas City's backups. They played
yep.
terrible versus the Chargers backups.
Yeah.
I mean, they got absolutely smoked by the Jaguars. This is
Yep.
an over team. This is an overrated team, right?
I think they're overrated. I think a lot of people are saying that now though. So, they were able to get the 1 seed. Playoffs go through Mile High. So you got to go to Denver to win, right? That's how it's going to go. I think they're very talented. It's a good roster. It's not a roster that's fraudulent or a defense that's fraudulent by any means. I think the offense has struggled as of late, which is why they've had their issues. Um, I'm not a huge Knicks guy. I think he's been very good at points this year, but also I didn't really love him in
I mean,
college,
he
and
plays
I
good in
didn't.
the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I mean, look at the
it's
Giants
important
game.
sometimes, right?
Hey, I mean, look, obviously that's a clutch quarter, but
Yeah.
you did the Broncos offense really starts
Which,
slow.
it shouldn't be that way when you got Sean Payton kind of calling plays, running the show, and Nix was his hand selected guy when he took over the Broncos. So, I think if they are able to pull it together on that side of the ball, they got a week off here to prepare. And if they're able to put something together, I think they got a chance. I don't think they have no chance. I think that'd be ridiculous, especially for a one seed. The bye is such a big advantage, but they definitely have some work to do on offense before they lace them up in the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the Chargers. I agree with you on the Broncos. Um, they face the Patriots.
Yeah.
Um, how do you see that matchup going? I mean, Patriots have played an easy schedule. They really haven't been, uh, really matched up against anybody good.
Yeah.
You don't really know how good they really are. And this is kind of a rebuilding year for the Patriots.
Yeah.
They had a really impressive season, but
Yeah.
you know we know the Patriots can't really rush the passer.
hmm Yeah. So, I mean, as far as the matchup goes for the Chargers, I think it's probably one of the better ones that we could have pulled. But I hesitate to say things like that because this is a 14-3 football team, with Mike Vrabel at coach and, May, who's been great at QB, an offense that's been on fire for the last, 6 weeks of the year, right? So, I don't want to say like I'm happier to be playing them than another team, or anything like that. But I think your point about the pass rush compared to a Denver or a Houston, I think that will work into the Chargers' favor. We talked about the offensive line issues, so being able to avoid those defensive fronts in the first round was good, I think, from a Chargers perspective. And as far as the Patriots, I think three times in my life watching the Chargers lose in the playoffs was at the hands of the Patriots and Brady, um, in the peak of their best years with LaDainian Tomlinson, 06, 07. That was back-to-back years where they lost to the Patriots. One of Rivers' last years. I think Rivers either beat rookie Lamar Ravens or the second year Lamar Ravens in the
No,
playoffs.
rookie year.
Rookie, yeah. And then they had the Pats that next week and lost, and the Pats ended up winning the Super Bowl against the Rams. So, the Patriots have kind of been a kryptonite for the Chargers over the years. So it comes with that kind of baggage. Obviously, it's a whole new era for both teams. So, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I'm excited about the matchup, though. I think both teams are enjoyable to watch. Good quarterbacks, good coaches, and it should be a solid game.
Um, I will say this, you know, a quarterback that plays the first playoff game
Yeah,
usually struggle.
yeah,
And the Chargers, Herbert and Harbaugh, they have playoff experience. Vrabel, that's the only person. McDaniel, that's the only. They don't have a whole ton of experience
yeah.
uh, in the playoffs.
No, it's
So I
true.
think, and that sides with the Chargers, I believe. Um, but their wide receivers, it's really Stephon Diggs and nobody really else. Um, they have a great running back, Trayvon Hendrickson. Uh,
Yep.
and their defense, they can make stops, but again, they haven't really played anybody. I mean,
Yeah.
they. I wish I saw them if Lamar Jackson didn't get injured in the first quarter
hmm
or the
Right.
first half, whatever he got
Yep.
injured. But they just haven't been tested. So, and one last thing, there's a debate who should be the MVP. Should it
Hmm.
be Drake May?
I'd go Stafford just because of
I
the
agree.
stats.
I agree.
Yeah, stats are he's got almost 50 touchdowns. Um, yeah, I think Stafford should win it.
All right, I want to hear your playoff predictions. You're not gonna. I'm not gonna predict the games. Only you
Okay,
are.
only me.
Yes.
All right, are you gonna list the games for me, like the bracket, or what?
Yeah. Well, for just the first round.
Okay, okay, let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. Uh, you are straight up or against the spread?
I'll go against the spread.
All right. So Rams at Carolina. Rams 10.5 point favorite.
Okay, at Carolina. Um, I'll go Rams straight up, Carolina with the points.
Interesting. Packers at the Bears. Packers 1.5 favorite.
At the Bear, give Chicago.
Straight up.
Yeah, both, I think. 1.5, yeah. I think they
Are
win the game.
are you good friends with Jimmy Lavelle?
Yeah, I like Jim. I don't know. I like their offense. I think their offense is good.
That's the most fascinating game. I don't know
Yeah.
because Green Bay has outplayed them besides overtime.
Yeah,
So
right. Well, Love's been out. Parsons got hurt, right? The Packers really haven't been that impressive outside of, a
and
few
they're banged
games
up
they've
as
played.
well. They're banged up.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think the Bears, if they can move the ball, I think there's no reason that they can't win that game, especially at home.
Yeah. Okay, so you like the Bears in that game.
Yeah,
Bills at the Jaguars. Buffalo 1.5 point favorite.
that's an interesting game, Ed. How do you feel about that one? You're
I
not
trust
gonna pick the
17. I that's the
you
only thing.
trust
That's the only
17.
thing you have to say. I think the
Yeah,
Jaguars have a better roster, but I'm just gonna trust
yeah.
17. I don't know. I'm not feeling great about it to be honest with you.
No, the Jaguars rolled the Chargers this year in a pretty ugly game. They've looked pretty good down the stretch. They gave it to Denver at Denver. Um,
I will say this, Jay. After we end the show, look at the Jaguars schedule after they lost to Houston.
yeah.
Just just do that for me because they really haven't played anybody. The-
Okay. Well, they
So
beat.
who do you like in that game?
Um, yeah, I'm just gonna pick Buffalo. I think because Allen. I think this playoffs is setting up nicely for Allen. Finally, he's no Chiefs. If he can get through a tough Jacksonville team, I think he'll have a good setup to get through the rest of the playoffs. Um, so. I guess I'll reluctantly take Buffalo because I agree with you. I love Allen. I think now's the time for him. But
Uh,
the defense has struggled this year for Buffalo, so I can see the case for Jacksonville. But
all
I'm gonna
right.
I'm gonna roll with
Quick picks. 49ers at the Eagles. Philadelphia -4.5.
San Fran to win the game.
Upset. I don't hate
Yeah,
it. If Trent Williams is healthy,
yeah.
I mean that matters. Your team, Chargers, at the Patriots 3.5. New England.
I got to roll with the Bolts. Win.
Both straight up and cover the spread.
Yep.
Monday night, Texans at the Steelers. Houston -3.
Texans roll.
I'm not sure about that.
Oh yeah.
Tomlin and the Steelers are very good on Monday night. I agree. I would take Houston,
Yeah.
but I'm hesitant because Steelers are very good on Monday Night Football.
Is that true?
Yeah, they're like 22-3.
Wow. All right. Interesting stat.
Tomlin's career.
Okay. Yeah, no, I just hate their offense. They're hard to watch, and I think Houston should beat them down.
I I I I I agree. I don't know. Yeah, I'm excited for that Chargers Patriots game. I think if the Chargers can get to a fast start, the you know, first time QBs, they can get hesitant. They can, really their minds speed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's an interesting game. I think the top three most interesting matchups are the Packers, Bears, Bills, Jaguars, and then Chargers, Patriots.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I'm excited for that to watch that Bills game.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for the playoffs. Jay, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Ed. It's been a pleasure. Love talking ball with you.
And you're more than welcome to come back on the show. Um,
Yeah.
if you all watch this video, make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.